born perfectly normal, 8 pounds, 11 ounces, strong. In fact, he was one of the biggest babies in the nursery. We brought him home. He continued to do well. By 6 months, when we went to a checkup, I talked to the doctor because we happened to have 2 nephews that were around the same age. And of course, I had Brian, who was older, to compare to. Kevin wasn't sitting up yet, unaided, which was of some concern to me. I look back, and I think between 4 and 6 months, his disorder started to set in. He stopped pushing himself off the bed. We went to the doctors. They sent us almost immediately to Rainbow Babies and Children's, to a neurologist. And right then, he had no reflex in his legs by that time. They did a series of tests, and the last of which was a muscle biopsy. And this one pretty much confirmed that he had spinal muscular atrophy or Wernicke-Hoffman disease. At that point, Kevin, I think, really progressed rapidly until he was like 1.5 years or 2 years old. We just saw so much that he didn't gain weight for 2 years. He was just this terrible atrophied child, and his neck control was getting worse. This lasted really until about 2 years, and then he kind of stabilized a little. It was as if it did the bulk of its damage, you know, by the time he was 2 years of age. And we had very good years until this past year. We had 4 wonderful years that we went to parks, we went to different places. We went to Disney with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And even though we ended up in the hospital a couple days with intestinal problems, it was a wonderful time.
Outside of the fact that he, you know, instead of running around and stuff, he was in a wheelchair. He was like anybody else for those 4 years, and people accepted him for, you know, there's Kevin, and he's, you know, at first you say, well, there's the wheelchair, but then you focus on Kevin because that's what's really there. He's proven to be an inspiration to other people. I work as an assistant football coach and teacher at Lake Catholic High School. The whole team got to know who Kevin is and what Kevin is. And at the end of the year, after we won a state championship, they gave him a game ball. I don't think you can really come away spending time with Kevin and you know, playing with him or talking to him without, you know, saying, boy, this is a pretty neat kid.
This year, Kevin is home tutored winter months, and he's done that since kindergarten. So this year he was home tutored. He went back to school 1 week, and he came home complaining of a sore throat and some sniffles. Within 3 days, he was put on a ventilator. And eventually this led to having a trach tube put down him, and there wasn't really any other recourse to do. But we kind of held through the night, and he looked at me a couple times, and he asked me if he was going to die. Kevin holds out, and I think as we do, a lot of hope for a cure someday. And I mean, he preys on this, and you know, MDA is where the research is. A lot of the monies are funneled into research, and that is his hope, that is his dream. In spite of everything, God has been good to us, but I think God works through different channels. And I think he works through doctors, and I think he works through other people. And he calls on other people to help those who really need it. And I certainly would call upon their help and their support so that we could find a cure for muscular dystrophies.
Please call now.
What happened to your plan?